Today we will be creating a timeline. What is a timeline? A timeline is like a number line, but instead of using just plain numbers on it, we use dates and events. And like a number line, those dates and events need to be in the right order. We are going to use the year that our school was built, 1965, till today, 2020, and we will try to order events, either world events or events from our own life, in the right order to put on the timeline. Now, for this job, we will need to have a plain piece of paper, or coloured if you've got some at home, a pencil, and very importantly, a ruler. So for the purpose of this video, I will be using an A4 white piece of paper, but at home you may have a bigger piece of paper, it might be coloured. By all means use that, use whatever you have at home. The measurements I will be using today though will be to fit this piece of paper. Now, even though what we are practicing today is a history skill, other skills will come into play, such as a bit of designer technology, measuring accurately, and some numeracy skills like dividing. Can we divide accurately? So let's have a think. I know that English Martyrs School started in 1965. And I know now the year is 2020. So how many years do I need to put on my timeline? That is 55 years. So I need to make a timeline long enough that will include 55 years. Now, to make things easy, I'm going to think in terms of decades. So 55 years are 5 decades. Some my 5 tens. And 5 years here. So on the whole, 5.5 decades. It won't be easy to fit every single year on my timeline, perhaps. So I need a length that I can divide easily in 5. I'm going to concentrate on the 5 here, and I'm going to add a half a bit later. So I'm thinking of my multiples of 5. I think I will try a line that is 25 centimeters long. What I'm going to do though, I'm not going to start here. I'm going to make sure it comes a little bit near the end, because I need some space here. So let's have a look. I'm going to start from 0 and stop at 25. 25 centimeters. 25 centimeters. I can divide this into 5 centimeter sections. So let's use our ruler again. That's my 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Where 25 is will be today. That is the year 2020. Now I've covered the 5. I need half. Now each section, like I said, is 5 centimeters. So half of 5 is 2.5. And I can just about fit it there. That is my half a decade. So this will be the year our school opened, 1965. 5 years on, 1970. And now it's easy because I can count in 10. So 1970, 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020. And now you have a nicely portioned timeline. Now, if I wanted to be a little bit more accurate than this, I will go back to my decades. Remember, this is half a decade. And I'm going to mark the half decades here. So 2.5 centimeters here, 2.5 centimeters, 2.5, 2.5, and another 2.5. So that will be 1975, 1985, 1995, 2005, 2015. Use this as a reference marker because your events might be on either side of those. Now, obviously, when you do your number line, don't write these calculations. I just did them for you. So I'm going to go and make this a little bit neater. And here is my finished timeline. Now at home, if you're using a longer piece of paper, you can go for more than 5 centimeters. You can extend it, or if you want, you can go further back in time beyond 1965. I think for our video, we will try to stay within these 55 years. But once you learn how to design a timeline, you can just explore time as you like. Now that we have created our timeline, we need to do some research. We need to find some events that we will put on it. We will start our research by visiting our school's website and find some events about Long Eaton that we can put on that. And after we have done that, we can also go and talk to our family or think really hard about things that have happened to us and write down the dates for them. Now we are on our school's website, and as I'm sitting here talking to you, I have a piece of paper and a pencil with me so I can take notes, and I think it would be a very good idea if you do the same so you can write down important dates. Note taking is a very important skill and it helps you along with any project you do. So we are going to go to our year 3 and 4 section, and we are going to look at where it says downloads, and we're going to look at Long Eaton History Week. And there you go, Mrs. Pettifer has prepared some facts for you here already. So the first date that I can see is 1944. The government made a new law called the Education Act. So the first thing I will write down, whether I use it or not on my timeline, doesn't matter. 1944 Education Act. And you might hear me scribbling furiously. So for the first time, schools were divided into primary and secondary schools. And a few years later, many schools were planned for Long Eaton, and ta-da! English Martyrs was built in 1965. So that is the start of my timeline. English Martyrs was built. There's another interesting date. In 2013, it became as English Martyrs Catholic Voluntary Academy. Now, we could look at the history of Long Eaton. Let's go and visit this timeline here. Wow! Look at all these facts. Now that might make an interesting read, but I'm going to look for some recent events here. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm looking for the 1900s. Keep looking, keep looking. We're getting close to when our school was built. Here we are. Longington Market moved. Can we find something of interest to us? Ooh, Solly was then designated as a conservation area. Oh, well, Long Eaton Invaders became national speedway champions in 1984. That looks quite interesting. So speedway champions. But if that doesn't interest you, don't include it. The point of research is to get as much information as you can, and you can edit it later. Let's have a look. Oh goodness, an earthquake. And a second earthquake. In 2003, the Duchess Theatre in Long Eaton burned down. Now I remember the Duchess Theatre. The carnival started again in 2004, Long Eaton Carnival. I'm sure a few of you have taken part. Now, 2008. A huge earthquake measuring 5.3 on the Richter scale was felt in Long Eaton and Sorley. I remember this earthquake. Your parents will too. So, there are a few facts about Long Eaton. You see how beautifully ordered this timeline is. But I think we need some more information. So we have done our research and made some notes, and I hope a lot of you have talked with your family about some important events in your life. Now, I know I have lived a little bit longer than you have, so my personal events that I could put on my timeline could span many of these decades. Now, I know your birthday is more towards that end of the timeline. So in order for you to fill some information here, you could add events that you found on the internet or important events that your parents might remember. So let me show you my notes. Don't they look messy? But this is what note-taking is about. You don't need to do anything neat and tidy as if you're writing in your topic book. These are quick notes you take while you do your research. So I will be looking through those and see what I can add on my timeline. I don't need to use all of them because there's too many. I can't fit everything in. So I'm going to select a few according to what interests me. Now you could be doing the same. I like information about space and cinema and technology, so I might be using some of those, as well as using some important information about Long Eaton. So the first date we saw was 1965. That's when English Martyrs was built. And we will put this on our timeline. Now, here, you can use felt tips if you like. Use different colours to make it interesting. So I will put English Martyrs built. I'm doing this very quickly. You can write a few more notes if you like. So we've done this event. Let's see what else we can find. Oh, there's another one. In 2013, English Martyrs became a Catholic voluntary academy. So I will use this now on my timeline 2013. Let's see where I can find this. So I'm going to look. There's the year 2000. 2010. Oh, I wonder where I can put 2013 here. But look, I've already marked the half decades. So this is 2015. So 2013 will go just before then. So English Martyrs Catholic Voluntary Academy. Done. You don't need to do these in chronological order. Your timeline will be your chronological order. Oh, let's see. Do I want Long Eaton, Speedway Champions? Oh, I might put about the Duchess Theatre getting burned. 2013. So 2000. This is 2005. So 2013 here. So Duchess Theatre. I'll put destroyed. In Long Eaton. What else? Oh, this catches my eye. A film that is dear to a lot of us. In 1977, the first Star Wars film appeared in the cinemas. 1977. So there's 1970. There's 1975. So a few years, a couple of years after that. Star Wars. Fab. Our timeline is building up. Now there's a date that is personal to me. In 1985, I came to live permanently in the United Kingdom, in England, and would you believe it? The first place I stayed was in Long Eaton. I used to live near the library. So I will put that date down as my own personal date. Right there in the centre, 1985, arrived in Long Eaton. Now, some of you may not have been born in Long Eaton, might have been born somewhere else. So ask your family where you came from and what year you arrived in Long Eaton. It could have been you arrived from another country or from another part of the United Kingdom. So that would be interesting to know. So that's when I arrived. Let's see. What else? Oh, first moon landing. That is a major event. I think we should include this. 1969. Okay, 1969, just before 1970. First moon landing. Do you know, I realised I should be adding dates to this and I haven't, so I'm going to add my dates quickly now. So 1977. Where shall we put it? At the top or here? 1985, 2003, 2013, 1969. You can add these dates at the top if you want. Have we missed something? I hope not. Now, I know another date close to your hearts might be the first and only time England won the Football World Cup. So that happened in 1966. A lot of people will remember this. Very close to 1965. Shall we put a bit higher? Nice and proud. England win. The World Cup. Put it there. Let's look for some other events. Now, Disney World opens in 1971. There's still an empty area here. London Olympics 2012. Very near 2010. London Olympics. An equally important event at 2010 is Pope Benedict visited the UK, and that was a very important event, not just for Catholics but for a lot of people in this country, and I know a lot of schools got involved in that, including the Beckett. So 2010 Pope visits. I might choose some for my timeline there. What can I find from the 1990s? Oh, 1989, just before 1990. The World Wide Web was proposed as an idea. It didn't exist before then. So 1989, just before 1990. World Wide Web proposed. Still looking at what else I can add. Doesn't look like I have found much, does it? (2001) Wikipedia is launched. Let me cross this one out. And I know a lot of us use Wikipedia. What else can we put there? I would like to include the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. That was only a few years ago. A jubilee is like a big anniversary. So in 2012, our Queen ruled for 60 years. That was a very important event. 2012, same year as the London Olympics, Queen's Diamond Jubilee. And talking about jubilees, 2015 was the English Martyrs Jubilee, our 50-year celebration. Silver Jubilee. A couple more events for our 90s decade. In 1997, the first Harry Potter book was published. So I'm going to look where I'm going to place this. 1995. Let's see, 97. First Harry Potter book published. And in 1998, Google was created. Can you believe that? So here are only a few of the events I'll put on my timeline. You can put events that are personal to you. I just try to give you a wide range of subjects that you can include. So I hope you are going to go now and research thoroughly about all sorts of events and enjoy it. Do you know, while I've been making this timeline, there's one mistake I keep making, and I had to keep reshooting this video, but it just shows you that even though it's the last event on our timeline, how insignificant it is compared to the whole history we have plotted here. My last event, which happens is 2020, is COVID. That's upset our life a little bit, or quite a bit. So in 2020, COVID appears, but it just shows you what a small and tiny event this is compared to all this momentous history. I thought it might be a fun idea to create a timeline on the washing line just for fun. So what you can do is take strips of paper, write the date at the bottom and the event the date represents, and create a timeline on your parents' washing line. You can use different colors per decade, and that will give you a good idea of the progression of time. So I've started with those. Don't worry if it looks messy. And the good thing about this is, if you mix up your dates, it's easy to adjust them. There we go. It's better than hanging clothes. See how many events you can fit on your washing line. Have fun!